sometimes.
City Hall was an impressive limestone building in the center of town. Mayor Robert Hayes, a silver
We'll see what we can do.
had arranged for
I'm
us
usually
to
going to be
meet in
doing
the
rank click.
council chambers,
A lot of the
formal
times I
setting that
am.
underscored the seriousness of the situation. His assistant,
Get
Andrea
lightsabers
Wells, escorted
by
us
luck.
to our seats on one side of a large oak table. Moments later, Cynthia arrived with Richard Coleman and Gregory Hoffman.
Mark button
Clear Hollow's
this time,
attorney.
yep.
Mayor Hayes took his position at the head of the table, flanked by two city attorneys and Dave Wilson from the Water Management Group.
Start driving.
Let's get straight to the point, Mayor Hayes began, his deep voice filling the chamber. We have a community of over 300 homes without reliable water. During a heat wave, allegations of property encroachment and unauthorized water usage, and enough bad press to damage our city's reputation for months to come. He turned to me first. Mr. Morgan, as I understand it, you currently control the water source and have restricted flow to Clear Hollow Ridge. Is that correct? All eyes turned to me as Sarah gave a subtle nod. That's correct, Mayor, I replied. After discovering Clear Hollow had installed an illegal pipeline across my property without permission, and after multiple attempts to resolve the matter were ignored or met with hostility, I purchased the headwaters that feed the creek on my property, a purchase that was completely legal. As the owner of that water source, I temporarily restricted flow while attempting to address the unauthorized infrastructure on my land. Mayor Hayes nodded thoughtfully before turning to Cynthia. Ms. Lawton, Clear Hollow claims to have proper authorization for the water access. Can you provide documentation? Cynthia straightened, confidence radiating from her. Absolutely, Mayor. Clear Hollow has maintained water access agreements with the Morgan project for years. She nodded to Hoffman, who produced the forged agreement. This document, signed by Ellie's father 2 years ago, grants us an easement for water infrastructure. I stiffened, but Sarah placed a warning hand on my arm.
Slurp juice, and then we're gonna fight Darth Vader.
Additionally, the watery question
You're not the true boss, Darth Vader.
Mayor Hayes examined the document carefully before passing it to his legal team. What about these allegations of property damage and harassment mentioned in the documentation? Cynthia's smile tightened. Completely exaggerated, Mayor. We've maintained the area around our infrastructure with routine maintenance. If there was any misunderstanding about property boundaries, we're happy to address that as part of a comprehensive agreement. The bold-faced lie made my blood boil, but years of tech negotiations had taught me to keep my emotions in check. Sarah took the lead, her voice calm but authoritative. Mayor Hayes, we have video evidence of Clear Hollow workers trespassing on the Morgan property as recently as last week, cutting fences and expanding the unauthorized pipeline. We also have documentation of systematic harassment, including property vandalism. The meeting continued for nearly an hour. Just as it seemed we were at an impasse, the chamber doors opened and Lisa Thompson entered. I apologize for interrupting, ma'am, but as a Clear Hollow resident, I believe
I'm not falling for that again.
Represented in these discussions. Behind her stood at least a dozen other residents.
That's the most failed rush ever.
From 120 households demanding financial transparency from our HOA
Bendy
regarding
sis.
the water access fees we've been paying, and calling for an independent investigation into Ms. Lawton's marriage.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call you sister.
Erupted into chaos as Cynthia leapt to her feet,
Welcome in.
accusing Lisa of undermining community unity during a crisis. Richard attempted to intercede, suggesting the residents didn't understand the complex legal considerations. Mayor Hayes finally Enough. Ms. Thompson, while I appreciate citizen involvement, this meeting was arranged to negotiate an immediate resolution to the water crisis. Your concerns about HOA management represent a
Sorry, my thing's delayed.
Stood her ground. With respect, Mayor, they are directly connected. We've been paying hundreds of dollars in special assessments for water infrastructure.
My thing's gonna be delayed up there. It's 10 seconds delayed, so you'll be hearing me saying some stuff from Tim.
It contained a bombshell. Financial records showing Cynthia had diverted over 200
This dude actually trying to shoot me.
water infrastructure fund over 3 years, using it for personal home renovations and luxury vacations. This wasn't just mismanagement or theft of water. It was outright embezzlement. I passed the note to Sarah, who immediately requested a brief recess, which they granted. During the recess, our team huddled with Mike and Lisa in a side chamber. I worked at accounting, Mike explained in a hushed voice.
Okay.
After your confrontation...
Welcome in, Demon. If you want to join, you gotta wait after I get finished with this match.
She's been skimming from every special assessment for years, Lisa added. And Brad Thompson came to me last night terrified. He admitted Cynthia ordered him to forge Mr. Morgan's father's signature.
Are you coming near the chat?
Sarah's expression was clearly excitement. This changes everything. We need to get Brad's testimony on record. When the meeting reconvened, Sarah calmly presented the new evidence, requesting that the police department open an investigation into potential fraud and forgery. Cynthia's composure finally cracked. This is absurd. A desperate smear campaign by a vindictive neighbor and disgruntled residents. Richard, say something.
Oh.
But Richard Coleman was suddenly very interested
Thanks.
in the papers before.
The more XP, no, it's trouble with the circle.
His staff to contact the district
I already got the medallion.
immediately. Given these serious allegations, I believe we need to adjust our approach to this negotiation. He turned to me. Mr. Morgan, regardless of these new developments, we still have a community facing a water crisis. What terms would you accept for restoring full water access in the immediate term? I had thought carefully about this moment. 3 conditions, Mayor. First, immediate removal of all unauthorized infrastructure from my property, supervised by county officials. Second, a proper water access agreement negotiated in good faith, with fair market compensation for those past usage and future access. Third, a public apology for the harassment and vandalism my family has endured. Hayes looked to Hoffman, who had been whispering to Richard. Speaking for the HOA, Richard finally said, distancing himself from Cynthia. We can agree to those terms in principle, pending review of specific details. As the meeting concluded with tentative agreement, Cynthia suddenly bolted to her feet. This isn't over, Morgan, she hissed, all pretense abandoned. You think you've won, but I still have connections you couldn't imagine. Enjoy
Thank you.
while it lasts.
Oh yeah, collabs are free right now. So if you want to collab, go ahead.
Apologize for her emotional response. Dave Wilson quietly informed me that the Water Management Board would be conducting its own investigation into possible water code violations by Clearwater. Between the DA looking at fraud charges and our regulatory penalties,
I'm gonna fight and get a couple more rank kills.
He noted, with satisfaction. True to my word, I partially reopened the valve unit, providing water 6 hours per day to clear all of the formal agreement being drafted. The community quickly organized an emergency HOA meeting, where Lisa presented the evidence of financial mismanagement.
Oh, crown.
By overwhelming vote, Cynthia and Richard
Welcome
were
in.
removed from the board.
Well, your avatar's kind of familiar, like mine.
Lisa installed as interim president. When I arrived home that night, Mom was waiting on the porch swing, a glass of iced tea in hand. Your father would be proud, she said simply. The fight wasn't completely over. Cynthia's parting threat suggested she had one last card to play. But for the moment, right prevailed over might. The fragile peace lasted exactly 9 days. Clear Hollow's new interim board, led by Lisa Thompson, was working constructively with our team to draft a proper water access agreement. The unauthorized pipeline had been dismantled, and plans were underway for a legal system. Most residents adjusted to the temporary water.
Okay, let's continue moving around the map.
For a lasting fix. Even Sheriff Miller now found time to look into the vandalism on our land, as Cynthia's good people.
Oh, that's my favorite. If you look at my channel, I beat it in 2 hours. Sure, I'll let you play after this match. I'll let you join in with me, little sis, little cousin.
Possible contamination in the creek on my land, citing the industrial chemicals. All water was ordered shut off. The complaint was based on samples by Thomas Green, the same inspector who targeted us under Cynthia's.
Possible.
My phone blew up with calls.
Yeah, my little cousin's about to be joining in here soon.
All demanding answers.
I'm right now just flying through the map and killing people in ranked mode.
Sarah said in our emergency meeting. She wants to make it look like we knowingly poisoned the water. Olivia noted procedural flaws. Anonymous tips don't trigger shutdown.
Looking around for, oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Now, sorry, but sorry, but I'm gonna have to leave the ship.
This we hired a private testing firm to collect samples, especially from the headwaters. We also asked for rapid testing from the state's main lab. Mayor Hayes.
Oh, a quest icon. Where's she one?
Results came in 48 hours. Our tests showed
that land
at the source and most of the property, except one section, right where the creek crossed into Clear Hollow, showing traces of the chemicals. Someone planted that. Olivia said after consulting experts. These are industrial solvents.
I'm not losing against you.
With approval from the county prosecutor, he got warrants to search Cynthia's office and Cynthia's home. What they found was shocking. His office had forged reports and a check from Cynthia. Her garage contained the exact chemicals used, plus receipts dated 3 days before the contamination. The charges were extensive. Forgery,
I already got one.
embezzlement, environmental crimes, conspiracy. Sheriff Miller arrested.
I'm just doing quests right now,
tried
farming
to flee
XP.
to Cancun with a bag full of cash. While the legal system moved ahead, the
Yeah, it
community
is.
began rebuilding. The new board finalized the Fair Water Act.
Go and get on the
that
Switch.
recognized our rights and
I'll tell you it when I'm done.
fair payment. Most importantly, Cynthia's culture of fear was gone.
Okay, I gotta destroy this.
Books for review.
Yeah, it's about to explode, and then we're gonna take you. Take my actual ship, don't fly. My ship's flying away!
Modernize the ranch's irrigation and create a sustainable model that helped both sides. Mom suggested we set aside part of the ranch as a nature preserve education program. A tribute to Dad's love for the land. He always said he was keep the spirit alive. In the months after, a surprising partnership formed. Some residents, ashamed of past silence, stepped up. Mike Hansen led volunteer days to help fix our land. Jennifer's Records became an award-winning series on HOA use and water. And Sarah, our working relationship became something more, bound by shared values.
That is 10 kills so far, and 16 people left.
Change was dramatic. Clear Hollow was now a model of transparency.
Don't sing, Nyla. You remember what I said.
Friendly upgrades. Cynthia agreed with
Critical damage.
regulated and respected, supplying water to both sides.
No!
Even the
No!
tourism board
Oh no.
our region as an example of sustainable sharing. On a perfect fall evening, I sat by the creek with Mom, Sarah, Mike, and former enemies, now turned friends. We celebrated the opening of the Morgan Water Conservation Trail, a joint project of Clear Hollow. Watching kids play near the creek that once sparked so much conflict, I raised my fear. Sometimes you have to stand in the water and people see its real value. In the end, the true resource isn't the water, it's mutual respect. The settlement could have sent me back to my tech.
I live again!
Spreadsheets didn't appeal anymore. This land, with its fights,
No one can beat me!
was home again. Dad always said the ranch would be here when I was ready. He just didn't mention it would take a water war, a corrupt HO.
I am going insane right
As I
now.
watched the sun glint off the creek, ours now shared and protected. I used to
Alright,
appreciate
turn off the radio.
Some things matter more than
Yeah, chug!
and some
I have gone through a whole jug now.
choose them.
Oh, I popped all these tires on the car. You! Get back here! You are not the true.
You're not the true goddess.
Oh, legendary shotgun!
Was not the real goddess.
Imagine moving into your dream home. Then you have a
You're the real goddess.
call 911 on your house.
You don't deserve to
Without
speak to
realizing
God.
you have to guess our cops. Yeah, it gets even crazier.
Yeah, Vader's been chugging a lot of juice right now.
We love seeing how far our freedom-loving neighbors reach. Moving
I'm
is
just
my
parkouring
new
right now.
A fresh start. A cozy dream
This is
after
about to
years.
be.
There's another chug
But at
jug.
sunset on that first evening, I caught my
How much chug jugs am I gonna find in this one
the
game?
self-appointed queen of the HOA, glaring daggers at the moving truck like it had personally
Another
offended
big
her,
jug,
arms
yeah,
crossed
chug
tighter
jug.
than a bank vault.
Big jug.
She introduced herself not with a welcome, but with a laminated list of
Oh,
HOA
enemy.
rules that read more like commandments chiseled in stone.
How many big
Each
jugs
one more
is
addictive.
Aimbot, aimbot. Dead, 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 dead.
Larger than 12 by 12
Behind
inches.
the
Only beige patio,
Ready? Kill him.
grass hiking
One
mountains.
shot behind you.
My friends laugh and I showed them. Think it was a joke.
I'm literally playing PS4 and I'm doing this well. I don't know how.
Within 24 hours,
You wanna know
I
something?
received my first violation.
What?
One
Looked
of
into
my
my door.
friends have
Terrible.
another
My
friend
moving boxes
named Chargo.
obstructed the visual aesthetic of
I
the
blew up both
community.
of them.
She wasn't done. She saw my tiny
Charger
pile
has
of
his
basil
skin
plant.
the
She
Christmas tree
cited me
all
for
year.
unauthorized
Never
agricultural
changes
activity.
it.
Her voice sharp enough to
They
slice the air
killed
like a
him.
knife. Neighbors whispered
He
war
died.
stories about her. She once tried to find a family because their Halloween pumpkins were emotionally distressing, and another because
I do too. But it's my grandpa's GameCube. I have mini game systems right now.
Just a few close colleagues from the police department.
I'm right now trying to get a TIE fighter.
I sent out private invitations, kept it discreet, but somehow Karen caught wind of it, possibly through her neighborhood watch program, which most locals agreed was less about safety and more about safety. 2 days before the party, she taped a request for event authorization to my front door, demanding a $50 fee and a 2-week prior notice for any gathering of more than 4 individuals. I laughed, tore it down, and tossed it straight into the recycling bin. After all,
oh, Vegeta! Vegeta sounds stronger than Darth Vader? Or, you gay person.
Not a woman who took no lightly. She patrolled the block that evening, muttering to herself while scribbling furiously into her little HOA notebook like a caricature of a cartoon. The day of the party arrived, and my driveway was soon lined with unmarked...
5 people left!
Off-duty officers come to celebrate. Some even still in partial uniform from their shifts. Karen's blinds twitched like they were about to fly off the windows. Halfway through appetizers, we noticed her creeping along the sidewalk, pretending to walk her yappy Pomeranian, which barked non-stop, ironically violating her own noise regulations. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, and there stood Karen, flanked by 2 of her closest HOA enforcers, Margin Road, a human brown and sour lemon, respectively. You're in violation of Section 422, unscheduled gathering. She's less patient after keeping her rage barely contained. I smiled politely, thanked her for her concern.
That was just rude.
Gently but firmly in her face, leaving her to stomp back down the walkway like a child denied candy. 5 minutes later, we heard sirens. Not the ones of my friends, but fresh ones. Blaring and urgent. Karen had actually called 911 to report a massive unauthorized party, claiming possible public disturbances, noise complaints, and suspicious activity. When the first uniformed officers rolled up, stepping out and realizing what was inside, they burst out laughing, radios crackling with barely concealed music. Karen tried to flag them down frantically, pointing at my
Zip it, Niley. We got TIE Flyer again.
But the officers, my colleagues, simply shook their heads and gave her a curtain nod before walking up the driveway and joining the party, her mouth open and closed like a dying fish.
I've had like so many TIE Flyers this game.
My captain made a show of checking our suspicious activities, admiring the barbecue ribs and tasting us in the on-road guacamole, before declaring the house safe and secure. Karen watched her back, when I told the most unexpected of the night. Surprised the HOA clearly. No, this was only the opening shot of what will become all-out war. After catastrophic failure of her 911, Karen retreated into her lair for exactly 24 hours before launching the next phase of her master plan. Grounding me in the first letter arrived the morning after the party, tucked into a cheap plastic envelope taped haphazardly to my mailbox, and alleged that my guardian gnome, a simple ceramic frog hidden among bushes, was a threat to neighborhood uniformity, punishable by a $75 violation fee. The second came shortly after lunch. A formal citation claiming my guest cars had damaged communal grass by daring to brush against the curb. It didn't stop there. By dinner time, I'd received 3 more, each more absurd than last, including one for excessive doorbell usage, and another for a potential allergic hazard, because someone had brought peanut butter cookies to the housewarming. Karen's assault was relentless and almost impressive in its absurdity, like she weaponized the HOA handle into a blunt object. When I finally confronted her, calmly, professionally, and with witnesses, she acted utterly bad.
The first person ever to get away from me.
Lashes, as if she'd never heard of such complaints. I'm simply upholding community standards. Voice driven to manufacture innocence. I knew better. This was targeted harassment, plain and simple. But Karen wasn't just aiming for my wallet. She wanted to make an example out of me. I became the cautionary tale whispered about at HOA meetings. Don't cross Karen, they warned, unless you were fined for breathing too loud. Meanwhile, my mailbox became a battlefield, each day bringing fresh violations. So ridiculous, even the male carriers started joking about needing body armor to deliver them.
Stop.
Escalator
I'm in a game right now.
Karen attempted to recruit neighbors against me. It started with the elderly couple next door, who had lived there peacefully for over 30 years. She showed up with homemade milk
Why'd I get teamed on like that?
supporting applications about my supposed disturbances. Instead, Mr. Jenkins, former Navy vet and a man who took no nonsense, listened to her rant for exactly 2
Stupid,
minutes.
2 people against 1. How can I win that?
Get off his porch before he turned the hose on her. Karen's failure only made her more determined. That weekend,
Of
I
course.
caught her photographing my trash can.
Of course, it's all bronze. It's all I killed was bronze this round.
While scribbling notes like a paranoid detective. She even tried to cite me for
Yeah.
feeding after I put out a small feeder for the local Cardinals.
Here, if you want to join in, I'll give my username to you.
Because clearly, the true terror threatening our community was sparrows. The absurdity grew so thick that my fellow officers started making jokes about forming a Karen task force, complete with tactical flashlights and citation shields. Still, behind the humor, I knew the situation was serious. Karen was weaponizing the
Here's the username.
that could actually
That's stupid. 2 against 1. How can I win that?
if left unchecked. She started leaving anonymous notes on my windshield too, accusing me of lowering property values with my frat house antics.
That is my PS4
In
username.
my house,
It's for my
nicest on the block. It was clear
if you want to add me, I'm on right now on.
she was motivated
If you
by
want my Roblox
by the
username, I'll give that
intoxicating power
later.
making others dance their wheels. Her behavior escalated into full surveillance. Neighbors reported seeing her peeking over fences, hiding behind trees, even peering through bushes in her obsessive quest to catch me.
Nile, no!
One afternoon, I spotted her crouched in my hedges with a pair of binoculars so massive they looked like they belonged in a Cold War spy plane. When I waved, she scurried away so fast she nearly tripped over her tiny dog.
You know better.
Who barked indignantly at being dragged along. Even with mounted
You're not supposed to do that emote ever when I'm
Karen
streaming.
convinced that the HOA's vague, toothless charter gave her divine authority. She began lobbying for emergency rule changes at HOA meetings, new regulations so absurd they sounded like parodies. No outdoor conversations after 8 p.m. No garage doors left open for more than 90 seconds. No
I'll
holiday
get on-
decorations visible from public.
But I will get on Roblox here soon.
Each proposal was presented with dramatic speeches about preserving the sanctity of the neighborhood, all while shooting venomous looks directly at me. By this point,
It just,
several
I'm
neighbors were
about to.
quietly siding with me.
Oh, hey, wanna play Roblox?
But too wary to confront her directly. Some slipped me screenshots of the HOA
Oh, yeah.
Facebook group, where Karen had posted passive-aggressive tirades about a certain new neighbor polluting community
What?
culture. I realized then that Karen wasn't just a busybody. She was a tyrant with a suburban people, and she wasn't going to stop.
You're not allowed on my phone ever again.
It was time to stop playing defense.
You've been banned from my
It was time to
phone.
turn the tables. But first, I
And stop doing that emo.
more evidence. And so the real chess game began.
Oh, no, not me. Not that.
And on their own, I
That
knew I
emo.
needed a strategy.
It's a song.
Bulletproof and
We need song B. I'm gonna get copyright for.
Dealing with stubborn, rule-bending troublemakers was part of my day job. The plan started with a small, seemingly innocent request. I began attending the
Let me
HOA
quick
meetings.
down.